I'm delighted to be back.
Fight week, obviously, as well. 250. Some nice
250
fights over the last few weeks.
for a card that marks a quarter of a century of pay-per-views. It's pretty, or quarter. Yeah, would you say quarter of 1,000 or a quarter of a century?
Not a century,
A
but
century is 100.
200
Yeah,
is
the
stupid.
quarter way mark to 1,000 pay-per-views. It's pretty underwhelming, isn't it?
But yeah,
Look, it's underwhelming in the sense of the names, but there's some fun fights on it.
yeah. I was
I
looking
think
through the
stars. I think some stars will be really born out of this event if they can get the eyes on it.
They will, like, prelims are strong enough as well. Early prelims not so much, but the prelims are solid enough. Like you've Brian Keller on there again. You've Chase Hooper, who's always fun to watch. Charles Bird, is he? I don't know. I can think of it. But yeah, main card again: Sean O'Malley, Neil Magny, Sterling's there, Cody Garbrandt. Like some sweet fights. I'm going to stay up for that, say.
you can piece some of the puzzles in Dana White's head here together. I mean, it's obvious now that Peter Yan and Jose Aldo have been pretty much confirmed to be fighting for the 135 belt.
Yeah.
That Sterling and Sandhagen, which is a great fight, is pretty much who will be next in line
Well,
to fight the one.
that's what Sterling said during the week. Is what he said. It's been told to him unofficially that the winner gets the winner of Peter and
Yeah,
Aldo.
and I felt for a long time that Sterling is well deserving of a shot. But I wouldn't be too mad either if Sandhagen managed to get the win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fun division, and that's even before you put Sugar Sean in there.
Mm.
You know, that's a division. But I feel that we talked about this. They missed a huge opportunity to do what they call a tournament, a Grand Prix.
4-man tournament, yeah. Even 4-man would worked.
Yeah, it would have been so much fun.
But he just hates tournaments.
It's I don't know why. It's so damn fun. If
Mm.
it's done right, I feel like Bellator don't do them right. They have too much time in between. It loses momentum as it builds. But like those guys, they're all young. The bar Jose, you've young guys, you've fresh guys, guys who are going to recover quickly. The guys who aren't going to take too much damage because it's 135. You can have a reasonably quick turnaround time, even if guys go 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been really fun, and it would have been a good introduction to a new wave of UFC fans of what a Grand Prix would look like.
Yeah. Take it, make it their own.
Exactly.
Take it and make it their own. And for everything that's going on, it could have been a nice change. But you know, at the same time, he had probably so much on his plate the last few weeks, Dana, and so it's like, let's just get these out of the way and get it done.
Yeah, but wouldn't it make his life easier if he doesn't have to do matchmaking for a division where he's picking the top 8 guys? Okay, the guys ranked 1 to 8, 2 alternatives, random numbers. Here you go. Here's your 8 fights.
Mm.
You know,
and further, I have to read the sponsorship.
Go for it.
The West Cork Beard Company makes handmade beard oils and beard balms for strong, healthy, great-looking beards like Keane's. As you can see there, he's rocking his Opie from Sons of Anarchy. Their products are made from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty in West Cork. You can check out their YouTube channel at West Cork Beard Company. That's the YouTube channel, and for some great beard care tips and advice. And you can find all their products on westcorkbeardcompany.ie. All their social medias are under the same handle as at West Cork Beard Company. Do check out the guys. Colin is a gentleman. He sponsors the show. He's a fan of ours, and we're a fan of his, and especially his products. And support the show by supporting our sponsors.
Yep.
Now jump straight back into it. So like, do you even want to go through the card like that? I'm just happy to talk about people.
Yeah, I mean, there's really fun fights there. Eddie Wyland and Sugar Sean is going to be a fun fight. Obviously, Sugar Sean is the heavy favorite, but Wyland is the kind of fighter that anything could happen.
Yeah.
You know, he's a tough guy to beat. I really do like what Dana is doing. I can't give Dana all credit. What the UFC is doing with Sean O'Malley, and that is that they're taking the Conor approach. They're building him up nice and slow. They're not throwing him into anything major yet. If you go back to the start of Conor's career, he was fed guys like Brando in Dublin, Dennis Seaver when he should never have been fighting Dennis Seaver. You know, Dustin Poirier when Dustin Poirier was on a losing streak. I think at 145. I don't think he was doing too well at 145 at the time.
Mm.
Obviously a very young Max Holloway, but they're just bringing him along nicely, and they're putting him on big cards, on the prelims of big cards and main events, and they're just getting his fan base going nice and steady. And obviously, apart from that, there's a big buzz about him as well.
Yeah,
I like what they're doing, and I think it's going to be exciting in a couple of years where he is.
Qualities?
Hmm?
Does he have superstar qualities? Like, can he talk on the mic good enough? Does he have a presence big enough?
I think he's going to be, if he reaches his potential, I think he's going to be that type of Masvidal, no bullshit type of character. I don't think he's going to have to be loud and brash on the mic. You can definitely get by.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, like a real kind of, what would they say, like a real G kind of guy. Like Masvidal is not a guy you fuck with. I think Sean O'Malley's that kind of guy as well, but also has a sense of humor, like Masvidal, you know?
Yeah.
UFC now have put him and Chase Hooper as Ben Askren's adopted sons, so he has two now.
I saw the edited clip.
Yeah.
On UFC's Instagram, it's funny. Oh man, when Chase Hooper, isn't it? Not Hopper, Chase Hooper.
Hooper, yeah.
When he got Jorge in that interview, man, it was so good. So good. Like, he caught him. He's, oh shit, man. I'm sorry, man. I was like,
yeah, Masvidal was genuinely like, shit, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, because you couldn't tell the difference. Like, you could see, that's his son. Straight up, that's his son.
Yeah.
Neil Magny's back against Anthony Rocco Martin. Neil Magny's fun to watch as well, isn't he?
He's a really fun fighter. I think he fought. Didn't he fight not too recently? He definitely fought behind closed doors recently.
I think he was in. Was he in Brazil?
I think it might have been Brazil. He's had a quick turnaround though. So
he fought. He lost in Fight Night 140, and he won in 248 Adesanya in Australia.
Okay, I thought he fought.
No, sorry, Adesanya and Romero in 248 in March. Okay. So yeah,
that was the last pay-per-view before the crowds were stopped, wasn't it?
Jing Lang Li.
Yes.
And, decision unanimous.
That was a good.
Fun watch. 22-7 record. Anthony Rocco Martin is 17-5, and he's coming off a win against Roman Eve at 163 in 2019 November. So he actually hasn't fought in a while.
So, I'm really looking forward to Garbrandt coming back, but I think you could draw. Like I was saying to you today, I had a nervousness for Woodley when he came back because his last performance was so poor.
Yeah,
and I think that, are we going to get the old and best Woodley, or is it going to be a new revitalized animal Woodley that we know he could be? He just didn't look up to it. Now, again, you can't take anything away from what's his name?
Raphael
Burns.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, Gilbert Burns with Woodley, because I don't think we talked about that.
Sorry.
Burns is shot straight up to number one. But yeah, I think you can draw comparisons to him and Cody, because Cody was at the top of the bantamweight division for a while, and two spectacular losses, two very similar losses.
Yeah,
getting into brawls where he shouldn't have been. And I hope he comes back good now, because he's a fun fighter to watch. And I feel like if he loses again, where does he go from here?
Cody?
Yeah.
So Cody's coming off a 3-loss streak, and this chap, Raphael's coming off a 2-loss streak. So if Cody loses this, I think the contract is let go for him.
Which would be a shame. Yeah.
It is a shame, but then you have to question the 2 times he fought TJ, he lost, and the guy was on PEDs.
No, not for. He was never on PEDs at bantamweight.
It was PEDs for last fight, wasn't it?
It was PEDs when he dropped down to 125.
And the second fight as well, I think. Or it was for the 125, it wasn't for the other ones, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't for bantamweight. Well, he would have popped, wouldn't he?
Okay. Sorry.
He nearly had TJ at one stage. He had him wrong.
Back and forth. He just got caught, man. The thing with Cody is he just gets completely overexcited, and the second he rocks him, he just goes massively in.
Yeah. He's a big volume boxer, and he's heavy hands.
If he can take a page from Gaethje in the last 20 fights, just pick your moments, rock him, stand back, enjoy it. Just take your time and pick them apart.
Especially when your boxing skills are that elite, you can just pick a guy apart in 3 rounds. You know, if the guy is happy to stand with you. So yeah, hopefully he gets a W on this one and he gets back in there.
I hated Cody Garbrandt. I just didn't like his aura. I didn't like what he just smug tattoos. I was like,
Well, all of us, we took sides. Remember, our WhatsApp group took sides. I was Dillashaw that time.
I met him, and he was the nicest man of all time. And I was like, I feel terrible now for not liking the guy. So I just instantly became a fan. So I was like, come on, yes. And I was gutted to see him lose.
I was always Dillashaw in that rivalry.
But are you still a Dillashaw fan?
He's gone down a bit in my estimation, obviously, because of the thing. But he should never. First of all, I don't think a champion should ever really go down. I think a champion should nearly always go up.
Yeah.
There are exceptions. TJ is a pretty small bantamweight as it is, but he did look like he really struggled making the weight to 125. And I think he's too small to go up to 145. Way too small. Imagine him fighting a guy like Ortega or Max Holloway.
Yeah.
And then you have the GOAT in the main event. It's pretty like this is where shocks happen because we're like, oh, okay, well, Nunes first round KO.
Exactly. So like, Spencer's dangerous. Her ground opponent was class, and we saw Amanda's wasn't amazing against Jessica. No, who was it? Who's her last fight? Wait, what can I remember her last fight? It was.
I'm all over the place.
Jermaine Durandame. So.
Oh yeah.
Durandame kind of exposed some stuff on the ground where Amanda wasn't the strongest. Like she wasn't terrible, obviously, but she wasn't the strongest. And Spencer's ground up was solid. So it'll be very interesting to see if Spencer can get her down.
I just don't think she has the experience to come up against the greatest female athlete of all time. It's too soon. But like, what's wrong? But the problem is with those divisions is they just don't have anyone else to go. You know, they don't have enough people lined up, enough women lined up with experience.
Yeah.
Like if you look at for example the bantamweight division for the men. If for some reason Peter Yan wasn't able to fight Aldo, there's 5 guys you could argue deserve to go for that title.
Yeah.
It pretty much works its way all the way up to welterweight, middleweight. You know, there's always a queue of people. It just doesn't work the same as the women. They're just not as stacked as the men's.
You could argue the fact that, look, it's COVID. She mightn't be at the full training camp, Amanda. Her missus is pregnant. Like, there's a lot of stuff being juggled in the air. Did she get a world champion camp?
Well, didn't she turn down? She turned down the last one, didn't she? Yeah. Because she said she didn't have enough time.
Yeah, but again, she obviously, because she couldn't find a sparring partner, wasn't it?
I think that was one of the reasons. Yeah.
So it's still up in the air. It's just I wouldn't like to be fighting for a title right now when I can't have everything 100%. But then again, I'm not a fighter, and that's obviously why. I don't have that fighter spirit.
I mean, the guys never have anything 100% to this. So they're kind of used to this kind of shit anyway. Yeah. There's always a problem in the gym. There's always something.
You saw a few fights announced for Fight Island in July.
There's some fun ones, isn't there? Really, Jack Hermanson and what's my man's name? Where's he gone? The guy who fought Adesanya for the belt. They had an unbelievable Kevin Gastelum.
Yeah,
that's a great fight. That's in July, and
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see Fight Island.
Yeah, to see the setup. I'd imagine it's going to look like the Apex.
I sent you on the merch 20 minutes before this phone call. The merch is class.
Yeah.
I'll be partaking again.
They get suckers like you with that shit all the time.
Come here. What were you wearing today?
What was I wearing today?
A fucking Jorge Masvidal hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
You won't be talking shit to me at all, boy.
Yeah, but Masvidal's done. Blades and Volkov as well.
Yeah.
You'd imagine that the winner of that will probably be next in line after Ngannou for a title shot, especially if Blades manages to get the win, because he's been on a bit of a tear.
Speaking of Ngannou, this whole super fight with John Jones and the whole thing that fell apart with Dana.
Hmm.
Your thoughts? Who's right? Who's wrong? Is there a right and wrong?
Well, let me ask you this first. Could you disagree that John Jones is the greatest male athlete, one of the greatest male athletes of all time?
See, we've been over this, and for me, it's a yes and no answer. Yes, I think he's up there with some of the greatest, but because he popped.
Okay, so let's even say he's in the top five,
Yeah.
right? Would you not agree that the top five guys in the UFC who draw bigger numbers in boxing should be earning the same, if not more, as guys who are ranked 15th in the heavyweight division?
See, I don't know. I don't know enough. I don't know enough about boxing. I know the sponsorship is a lot more in boxing.
Exactly. Exactly. But they do get a higher cut of the purse.
Yes, but look,
But this is also where the problem with boxing lies, is that there's 10 world heavyweight championships, there's 10
yeah.
cruiserweight champions, there's 10 super cruiserweight championships. And it's very rare that we get to see them unified unless you have a guy like Canelo Alvarez or a guy like
Let's look at the
Anthony
argument.
Joshua.
Let's look at the argument of I'm looking at the PPVs, the pay-per-view buys here, and John Jones's biggest pay-per-view buys was 860,000 back in 2017, and that was against Cormier too.
Okay, now look at Dylan White's pay-per-view buys. Dylan White for his last fight got 30 million.
He's a boxer, is he?
Yes. Like John Jones, you could nearly say is a household name.
Jesus Christ, what am I like? Go on anyway.
So yeah, I think when a guys get to a certain level like that and they've been in the sport as long as they have, take all this shit about steroids and PEDs out of it. Yes, there you go. So yes, in my opinion, John deserves 30 million if he's going up, especially for a super fight against the heaviest hands in the world of MMA.
Why 30 million? Like, how much does he get regularly? Do we know? 5 million.
5 million disclosed, isn't it?
So they released the numbers where we got 800,000 for showing, 800,000 for a win, kind of thing, is it? Or?
Yeah. But like they also get a cut of the Reebok thing as well. Now Reebok, interestingly, ends this year.
Yeah, Reebok fucked a lot of people, like a lot of people.
No, Reebok didn't fuck anyone. UFC fucked a lot of people.
By taking the deal. Now, let's not. I like the uniform look. I do enjoy that uniform look. All the fighters have the same gear. Like there was some of the stuff that was just so stupid with the big logos in the ass and stuff. But look,
you know what? I don't care if it's getting the guys a couple of $100 extra grand. I don't care.
We've sponsored fighters before. We know what it's like.
Yeah. And we know what that kind of real estate costs.
Yeah.
You know. So imagine that kind of patch. Like imagine what, like even guys like Conor McGregor. Imagine how much Nike would give him if he was going to fight Khabib in the rematch to have Nike on his shorts. Or fucking Under Armour.
Easy double figure millions.
Exactly. Like this. So money wise in the UFC, it's extremely unfair.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably unfair.
Do you think he'll trash it?
What you mean?
As in they won't go Reebok again. They'll.
Oh no, they'll either Reebok will renew or they'll get someone else in.
They'll keep it the way it is.
I don't think they can go back now. I think that's the problem. I don't think they can go back. But the thing is, now they have the power for when an Under Armour or a Nike or an Adidas come in and say, well, look, every single picture posted in the last 5 years of a UFC fighter, he's wearing Reebok gear. You know what I mean? Every single picture is Reebok gear.
Yeah. There's a very, I don't know the story. I have to look more into it. But there's a very good chance that resuscitated Reebok. Because Reebok was not the biggest brand. It was struggling a lot against Adidas, against Nike, against Under Armour. And because of this deal, it went above and beyond. If any combat sport fan knows that Reebok sponsors MMA. They've
put their foot on a sport which they hadn't done before. Nike, whenever you thought of golf, you thought of Nike. Okay. You know, and whenever you thought of, I think it's NBA, Adidas is huge and Nike is huge in the NBA. What sport do you think of when you think of Reebok? Running, athletics. That's pretty much it.
Even you have Puma, you have what's that running shoe? Axis or something, or Axis.
Exactly. So they're competing, like when the Olympics and stuff rolls around, they're competing massively for any sort of coverage. But now they are the fight brand, the same as Monster Energy. That's what you associate them with.
Yeah.
My guess would be if another brand was to come in, it would probably be an Under Armour, or else Reebok keeps going. But either way, the fighters have no say.
Or Spartan.
Spartan, maybe. More on that later.
Yeah. Yeah, are you going to stay up for Saturday?
Yeah.
I might pop in.
Yeah.
We'll see. We've been spending a lot of time together. We work together, so because we would have had it by now. So don't worry, calm down. I'm looking forward to it. Are you watching The Embeddeds?
I haven't started yet, but what I tend to do with ones that aren't that fascinating is I'll watch them all Saturday night, just before the prelims start. Yeah, just to get in the mood.
I have Fight Pass as well, so we can watch them there, prelims and stuff.
The earlies.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on Conor fight with Anderson? Anderson Silva, if you don't know, Anderson Silva put a tweet out saying, "Let's talk a super fight with Conor McGregor."
168.3 pounds or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. That to me said he was being sarcastic, as in don't bother. Like,
I think that's the lowest he could possibly cut, maybe.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, if Conor wants to be taken seriously as a title contender in that division,
financially, it doesn't make sense for Dana to look at.
But Conor could fight me, and it would financially make sense for him. It doesn't matter who he's fighting.
Yeah.
The numbers are going to be around the same. It's people want to get that Conor money, Yeah. And look, I wouldn't begrudge Anderson Silva a huge payday before he walks away either. No, I know he would have gotten a big payday for, was it UFC 200 when he fought DC?
Okay.
When he stepped in at short notice, I think.
Tate versus Nunes. 1.1 million buys. Is it Tate versus Nunes was that fight?
I thought it was UFC 200. I could be wrong.
No, it is. DC won, didn't he? Defeated Anderson Silva.
Yeah. He just grappled him for the whole thing.
Yeah, Misha Tate versus Nunes was the main event. 100,000 buys. Excuse me, 109,000.
I believe that was supposed to be John in DC as well.
Okay.
And I think that was when DC found out about a week beforehand. Yeah, I think that was it.
Heartbreaking.
Or maybe a bit longer, yeah.
Disappearing language.
Glitching out,
yeah. What else is there? Fight Island. Who else? Like, once Fight Island rolls, he's unstoppable. I think he just doesn't leave Fight Island.
But it's looking like they've wasted millions now, because it's looking like America's going to open up much quicker than anyone anticipated.
But he has an island. That's a whole thing. Like,
but it's not his island.
He's renting.
I think it's Branson's island. I think that's what I heard.
Okay, and he is what it is. Like, he couldn't. Like, I think he's right in doing what he did. He set the wheels in motion for this because you couldn't sit back and wait. And I think he reacted well.
I agree. But now that they're doing him at the Apex, they're never not going to be allowed to do him at the Apex again. So, to me, it seems like they've wasted a lot of money on Fight Island, thinking that they weren't going to be able to host any events on American soil.
Well, look, unless it's a marketing and a branding thing, they can just run off of Fight Island for a while and merch. Like, how much was 600 million? Was it?
Just put on a fucking spectacle, like.
Yeah.
Just put on a fucking spectacle there, make it big.
And remember, everyone we're talking about, remember the Fight Island card? It was unbelievable.
And please, I hope from about 2 months ago they've been doing an embedded. They've been doing one long embedded following Dana, following that team. Because if it's a 2-hour documentary, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
I want to watch how it all came together.
Like a Fire Festival style.
Yes.
Documentary. I'd be game for that. I would. They need to do more of that kind of stuff for Fight Pass. I know there's some stuff on there, but like, can you imagine a weekly vlog just following Dana? Just following Dana and his team, fight makers.
I'm sure they've floated this idea around before as well, but like, why not fly to Iceland? So 1 week they're with Gunnar Nelson for a week in Iceland, and it's a week-long vlog. The next week they're gone to Brazil to follow someone else.
Some
You
other
know,
stuff.
that would be cool.
Yeah,
And it's a
maybe
series that just
talking.
keeps going on.
Yeah,
Different fighter every week. They don't even have to be in a lead up to a fight.
yeah.
Just what's a day in the life for these guys.
And the animated fighter is solid enough as well on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
something like that, but just following them week to week could be cool.
exactly. Yeah,
Dana, if you want to take it, no, I won't charge you.
I will.
Thank you for listening. We will be back on Sunday, we'll say, after the fight.
Yep.
Yeah, so back Sunday. We're going to show out Sunday night, Monday afternoonish. If not, looking forward to it. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy
If
the
you
fight.
have a beard, we're going to try and get our sponsor, Colin, on Instagram Live to be announced just for a chat with me for 10, 15 minutes. My beard is completely out of control at the moment. I love the length of it, but I hate the sides. So I'm going to chat to Colin about tips. And you had a couple of interesting questions regarding MMA and guys with beards as well. So we're going to throw that at them.
It could be interesting as well. And also, if you know anything about DraftKings and the MMA leagues, DM us because I'm interested in looking at it. Real money could be good crack. Especially if we have leagues against each other and like, oh, you had it. I think it could really be good crack in that MMA chat we have. So if you know anything about DraftKings and MMA leagues, let me know or let us know through Instagram. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, subscribe away. Like us, review us. Appreciate everything you do. Support the show by supporting our sponsors. Colin is a gentleman, and he's a really solid product. Cian, always a pleasure, my man. I'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy 250, everybody, and I'll see you later.